Hello.
Hi.
Wherever you want. That's just, I mean, if you want, you can move it. Do you think I should write the session ID on the board?
Where's it at? Oh, yeah, the 2199. You'll have to get up and erase it. I won't know to look at it anyways.
I did this with Miss Cook one year, and she was like, I know. She's judging. She was just a sub here, but she had taught prior to here.
Is she here judging? Did Miss Brenda come with us? Or Miss Beck?
I don't know.
They live by each other now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I just wondered if they made the trip together. Probably not. Miss Beck probably has to teach tomorrow.
Yeah, true. Hello.
Hey again.
Survive another day?
Yes, I did.
Hi.
Every day is a good day.
It is.
Haven't lost my keys.
If you guys want to move the
That
Chromebooks,
was
you
car
can.
keys, never
That's
mine.
just where we set them.
Never your school. I was thinking
I did lose them too.
Oh, did you really?
There's no happy medium in this room.
What did I do with it? I retraced my steps and I thought, but I guess they were on my finger and whenever I put food in the freezer, it fell off because I found them whenever I pulled.
That's how my husband lost his last wedding.
Was
Not in the food freezer, but it just fell off.
well, I knew I had it wasn't far. I knew this.
The first time he did it, he found it in his clothes. Then he lost it again 3 days later, and I stopped.
You don't get no more.
You don't get it anymore. We'll be married 60 years in February. We know you're married.
I was gonna say, where are you going with this, Miss
Yeah.
Nichols?
Brad lost his twice,
Oh, my
but
God.
found it. Like he went got a metal detector. One day he lost it pushing out hay.
Awesome.
One day I forgot what he was, but he threw something. I don't know if it was hay or what, but he was doing something on the farm and threw it, and it. But he walked out there a few steps and.
We were only lucky enough. You really shouldn't wear it on the farm.
Oh, I know, it's
think
dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous.
And then Brad worked construction so many years. You can move it. I did. Back a little bit. I didn't want to make the kids uncomfortable.
Yeah, you'll freeze there. Miss
I will
Nichols.
freeze there. I keep my room at 76.
Oh my
And
god.
your room's warm.
Yeah. And the kids will say, it's hot in here. I didn't invite you.
But you get when you go to ISS, huh?
Yeah, that's what happens. Wear your summer clothes, sweat. I don't care. Don't come back.
Don't tell them like welcome to Hades or
Yeah.
anything like that.
That's what we do with their recovery. They'll say, do you have ketchup or do you have this or that? And we'll be like, that's a luxury of the lunchroom.
That's the way it is in ISS too. Oh, yeah. I said, well, you want us to eat dry broccoli? I said, your choice.
Hey,
Where
Seth.
am I sitting at?
Are you my timer?
Yes, I am.
Perfect.
Apparently there's a timer for me.
Yep.
Okay, how do
And
I
a paper.
use it? I'm not very. My brain,
Do you want to
brain
do
cells
people
don't
know
work.
how to use the timer?
start, stop, reset.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
You got it.
Do you need a pencil?
I got a pen.
Okay, perfect.
Where do I sit? Just anywhere?
Probably in the back.
Like back right corner?
Yeah.
Left?
How are you? Good.
Is this your room? It is. Sweet. How are you? Good. How are you?
They're like multiple, like.
So from 5 to 5:20 is the presentation, and then like 5:30. Then the next three, they're all.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
Now, like, what if
Oh.
somebody comes in there with a set of minutes?
Huh?
Oh, somebody comes in here, what?
I think it's to your, is it right there?
Well, then we'll just have extra time, whatever.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Hey.
I have this mic for you whenever you're ready to put it on. Do you know how to put it on?
No. Really?
They say to clip it on your collar, but you don't.
We've got a turtleneck.
So I'm gonna grab. I don't care.
Hey.
So hopefully they can hear you.
Okay.
Hi. I was just talking about you.
You know what?
It was. It was how seamless you made the first year I did this. Do you want to see if that works? And then
Yeah.
so the down arrow.
Oh, got it.
Yes. Good. How are the parents? They're good. They're good.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, I'm good.
You know to stand somewhere around the tape?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Hey. Take a swig of water.
Are my judges ready? Okay. Imagine you are a child caught in the middle of a storm, unable to control the winds of change that are tearing your family apart. This is an example of how many children may feel when their parents go through a divorce. A divorce is not just a legal process, but an emotional roller coaster. Today I stand before you to discuss different ways a child may feel when their parents go through a divorce, and ways parents and counselors can help talk them through this process. Hi, my name is Sharon Stevenson, and many children suffering from a parental divorce grow up experiencing more educational difficulties than compared to children whose parents are still together. A good parent-child relationship is key for a child's success in the future. Over every month, there are over 400 divorces filed, and of those 400 divorces, only 4% go before a judge and discuss where their child may go during the divorce. A divorce is not just a legal process, but an emotional roller coaster. Oops. There are many different effects a child may gain during the process of a divorce. One is loneliness. Mike Averill stated that during this process, some parents are often too busy wrapped up in themselves to focus on their child in this situation. Whenever this happens, a child will begin to feel lonely and could also potentially gain a loss of confidence. Because some children's parents do not talk them through this process, they may begin to believe it is their fault that their parents are going through the divorce and feel like a burden in a family and a burden in the world. When they feel like a burden, they will also experience anxiety and depression. They will begin to stress about them in the outside world, and they may begin to feel sad about it. Another possible effect is a school problem or a learning disorder. Because some children do not get much attention at home, they will begin to act out in class to gain the attention they're grieving. Whenever some children are acting out in class, they're often pulled out, and their learning process begins to decline, which could potentially lead to a learning disorder. Now that I have stated different ways a child may feel when their parents go through a divorce, I will now discuss ways to help children. One way to help these children is counseling. Counseling shows children what it's like to not be in a non-toxic environment and shows them what it's like to be in an open and free communication. The second way is to show them what a healthy relationship looks like. This relationship could be with a teacher, counselor, or friend. They just need to see the firm foundation of a relationship and what it takes to make the relationship non-toxic. There are many different types of families a child may experience after a divorce, one of which being a single-parent family. Some parents tend to not get married after a divorce, so now this child only has one parent raising them. Next family is an extended family. If some single parents have trouble paying the bills or raising their child, they may call in help from this child's uncle, aunt, or grandparents, so now this child has their uncle, grandparents, or uncle and aunt raising them. The third type of family is a blended family, also known as a step family, where one parent child from one relationship marries into another parent child from another relationship. The final family is a cohabiting family, where two individuals are living together and raising a child, however they are not married. Because there are many different types of family types, it has been said that parents are their child's first teachers. Parents show children what it's like to learn new things and show them that learning can be fun. Maripedia.org did a study in 1997 over students who received a high school degree based off family structure. Their results conducted that students from an intact married family had the highest percentage of students who received a degree, with the lowest being an intact cohabiting family and a always single parent family. The next study they did was over students who received mostly A's in school. These results showed that an intact married family had the highest results, being 28%, and the lowest being a married step family and a always single parent family. The final study they did was over children who repeated a grade in school. Students who had both biological parents raising them had the lowest percentage, with the top three being step-parents, mother-only, and other, all around being 20%. These results have proven that family structure does have an effect on a child's success in school and their potential growth and learning. Because family structure is so important for a child and their potential, I decided to host my event off of family. For my event, I hosted a mother-son fun night. This night was offered to grades preschool through 4th grade. I decided to hold two separate events so there would not be a 4th grader running over a preschooler, and so there would be less children waiting in line than playing games. I chose to do this project because in the town of Willow Springs, there is not very much family fun. Unless the pool is open, the closest place to go bowling, see a movie, or go roller skating is either Mountain View, Mountain Grove, or West Plains. My project offered a free local family night for parents and families to stay in their hometown. The second reason I chose to do a mother-son fun night is because in the past there have been a few father-daughter dances. There have not been very many mother-son events, so I decided to hold one on my own. Final reason is because in the town of Willow Springs, 14% of males and 11.4% of females have gone before a judge and discussed where their child may go during the divorce. Overall, I had 124 people RSVP and I had 70 sons show up. One activity at my event was a craft. For the craft, the mothers traced their hand in one color while the sons traced their hand in another color. After they cut out the hand shapes, they would intertwine them to make the shape of a turkey. Before my event, I cut out round circles so it could make the process easier and faster. I had shapes there so they could decorate it any way they like, and I had markers and pens so they could decorate it any way they like. The second activity was balloon tennis. For balloon tennis, I borrowed rackets from Coach Bunch, and they just hit the balloon back and forth. Many of the mothers and sons seemed to enjoy this, and it was a very big hit. The next activity was a reindeer toss. Whenever I was looking for snacks for my event, I saw this reindeer toss and thought it would be a fun extra thing to add, and I'm glad I did. For the reindeer toss, they just tied it on their head and tossed it back and forth. The next activity was bowling. For bowling, they just stood on the mat and tried to knock down the pins. If a son or mother ended up knocking down more than one, they would get a slap bracelet or another prize. The next activity was a ring toss. For the ring toss, I was going to use these bottles just in case I couldn't find a bowling set, but I ended up finding one, so I used this opportunity to use it as a ring toss. I already owned the rings, so I just filled the bottles up with water and they tossed the rings. If they got more than one, they would also get a slap bracelet or a prize. The final activities were an airplane contest or an obstacle course. Prior to my event, I printed too many flyers, so my mentor thought it would be a good idea to make this an airplane contest. Not very many people did this, but some people did, so it was okay. The next activity was an obstacle course. For the obstacle course, the sons would spin around with their head on the bat, then run back and forth, and the mom would do the same. Many people seemed to enjoy this and do it, but by the end of the second night, a lot of kids were hula hooping, which was okay, but then they ended up getting the balls out and playing baseball, so I had to put it up so no one would get hurt. I did face a few challenges over this event. One was picture day. I scheduled the first night the same night that I had my basketball pictures. The way I worked around this was by leaving class early that day and starting the night off in my basketball uniform. Whenever the last person on my team got their picture taken, I ran down there and then I came back. My mentor was the cheerleading coach, so she had to do the same thing. The second challenge I faced was the participation of mothers. Like I previously stated, the second night was pretty hectic, and that was because some mothers didn't participate and just let their sons roam around. It was okay though, because no one got hurt and everyone had fun. These challenges taught me time management skills that I could bring into adulthood, and it also allowed me to overcome obstacles. Here's a picture of some of the kids that were playing baseball, and there's that one. Whenever parents go through a divorce, if they do not talk their child through this process and maintain a good parent-child relationship, some children may face different effects and feel like they are lost alone in a severe storm. Thank you. Do my judges have any questions?
What was your favorite part of doing the study and the research?
Probably learning over like all the effects the child could gain, like how to help them through it.
Was there one thing that surprised you more?
Probably the studies that the Ameripedia did. I didn't really notice how much the family structures affected them till I saw the studies.
Appreciate you all coming tonight to judge, watch Sharon's presentation. If you will complete the rubric and then please leave comments. You guys are ready.
I forgot a whole chunk in the beginning.
You still did it.
Thank you.
Get your board.
Thanks. I forgot a whole bunch.
It's okay.
I noticed there was a lot.
Good job.
Thank you.
You feel all better now?
Yeah.
Great feeling. How are you?
All right, how you been doing?
Good.
That was just
It was.
Have a good evening.
You too.
she did.
On the rubric. All right, thank you.
Nichols, how's it going?
I'm Brian.
Ryan did all right. He got a little nervous. He told me, he's like, I ain't even nervous in the beginning. And then he got to talk, he's like, I'm not. I got it now.
Hello, lady. Huh?
Oh, this one? I thought she was playing.
Oh, did you? I presented it, Iron. Oh, did he? Son Ryan. Yeah. We just watched Ryan Friggin, so. Oh, gotcha. Just have to go way above it. But it's still. Oh, okay.
You can click anywhere in the box.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, let's you click everywhere above the bubble?
Yeah,
Oh, click
everywhere
anywhere
above.
above the bubble.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently, I didn't realize that.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, there you go.
If you try to go right in the bubble, it doesn't.
Well, that's a feature.
Hey, if you think about it. Morning, honey. ROBIN. I was too, but Kayla had told me that.
Do I have to do it this way? Okay.
No, they go to
Well, there's that. That was my biggest fear. I found one person that I really wanted to
This is just like school, all the open computers in the front row.
We moved them. We moved them to the back. You can pick yours up.
Oh.
On the chair. For hair. Not for you.
Yeah, feel free if you want. About 4 minutes.
Where is it?
We figured out on that you put anywhere but the bubbles.
Not on.
Not on the bubbles. Great, thank you all for coming.
All right. Are my judges ready? So ever since I was little, I remember my parents carrying around a camera and taking pictures of me and my family and all of the times that we spent together. And the first thing that they would do whenever they had used up all their film in their camera was take it to the store and get that film developed and either put it into an album or put it away in a box somewhere and just keep it there so we could have the memories. As a little kid, I would take down them boxes and open up them albums for hours and look upon them and just look back on all of the memories that we had had when those pictures were taken. It later led me to taking things such as YouTube videos of myself that were never going to be posted, or taking pictures of me and my family on iPads that my mom and my dad had around the house, to me later, my freshman through junior year, taking a journalism class so I could take pictures of people at school and put them pictures into the yearbook. Hi, my name is Cindy Kinsall, and this is a look through another's eyes. So with this project, I had to, sorry, it's not working. For this project, I didn't really know what I wanted to do until I was told that we could do a passion project. And so my mind immediately went to photography. And I didn't really know that much about photography itself, so I really had to look into that for my research. So for the beginning of my research, I looked into the history of photography. So the very first camera that was ever made was the camera obscura. This is an example here. It was a box with the lens on one end, and on the inside it had a mirror that would then reflect the image that the photographer would face the lens at, and it would go through a piece of glass, and the artist would then put a piece of paper on that piece of glass, and they would trace the image that the lens was focused on. It later was the camera that actually led to our first actual picture being taken. This picture was made from a metal plate that had chemicals on it. The artist then placed that metal plate with chemicals on top of that piece of glass, and the light that reflected off of the mirror and went onto that piece of glass, or onto that piece of metal, the chemicals and the light mixed together and it made a picture. And now, as you know, we had Polaroids, we have digital cameras. Now we are even able to take pictures on our iPhones and iPads. So, but that wasn't the only thing that I had to look into whenever it came to photography. I also had to look into the techniques that you have to have and have to know to actually take a good picture. So as you can see here, as an example, the picture on the left is a girl out in our school actually, and half of her face is brightened by the sun and half of the face has shadow on it because of the way that the light was facing onto the girl in the photo. You can also see that some parts of the red jacket that she has on is blinding to the camera, so it is very bright because of the sun. Rather than on the picture on the right, you can actually see her whole face. None of there's no shadows on her face. The lighting is hitting her perfectly to where there is no discolored part of her body or any of her clothing. Another technique that you have to have for a photographer is you have to know what depth of field is. Basically, depth of field is the amount that the camera is focusing on the image that you are taking. So an example I have here is a picture of a field where you can see all of the trees, the grass, everything in the whole entire picture is focused on through the camera lens, and that is controlled by an f-stop. The lower you have it, the more clear that image is, and the higher that you have it, the more blurry that the image is. As the picture on the right is a micro picture where the f-stop is higher, and as you can see, the background of the image is blurry, and the photo or the subject, which is the flower, is focused to where the camera is capturing its full color and its full shape. Another technique that you have to know and practice at is composition. Composition is how the subject of the photo is actually framed into the camera. So as you can see here as an example, one composition that I have is rule of thirds. To follow the rules for rule of thirds, you have to place an image in the tic-tac like so boxes, and you have to put the subject of the photo intersecting at these lines or where the middle box is. As you can see, the goat's eyes are actually in the intersecting with the line in the middle of the box. Another composition is leading lines. Leading lines is exactly how it sounds. The lines such as arches, roads, or drains like I used here leads to the subject that you are taking the picture of. So the lines of the drain are leading to the sloth, and those lines you first see takes you to the sloth to where you are following them with your eyes. But the techniques wasn't the only thing that I had to learn. I also had to learn styles, which were things such as portraits, which are pictures used for weddings, for senior photos, and things such as taking family photos. And also another example for styles is still life. Still life is exactly how it sounds. You put an animate object in front of the camera with a backdrop behind it that doesn't move, and you take a picture. This is used usually for ads. So for my project, I had to take this information and put it into what I wanted to come out from all of this. So my project actually was based on 3 parts. I entered into a competition called worldphoto.org. I had to understand how to edit my photos, which was using an editing software called GIMP, and I then had to put it into the album itself. So the competition that I was in, I actually heard from it from my photography teacher, Miss Martin. This was a youth competition that I entered into, and it was based on 3 pictures that has to do with your everyday life. So I'm just going to go over the 3 pictures that I put into it. So this picture on the left is a picture of a girl named Kaylee. I actually go to school, go to work, and I live with her. So that's how it really relates to me. The middle picture is a goat. This was basically just me tying in all of the animals that we had around the house: goats, pigs, chickens, cats, and dogs. So that was just me tying in the fact that I do have a lot of animals around the house and that animals are a big part of who I am. And the last picture was a picture of the sky. Skies and sunsets and sunrises really just calm me down whenever I look at them. The colors and the clouds and the shapes that the clouds make, they really just calm my body down and make me relax. So that's how those 3 pictures that I entered tie into my everyday life. I unfortunately didn't place, but that is obviously how you grow. So that is the competition that I entered into. The second main part of my project was the editing software that I used that I learned in photography class, and it was known as GIMP, as I said before. It was a hard process learning how to use GIMP because, like I said before, I was in journalism class, but you didn't really edit photos that you put into your yearbook. You just took them, and usually they were of sports. So you took them and you just put them in the yearbook if they weren't blurry or if they looked even a little bit decent. So we put them in there without the process of editing. So that was definitely something that I had to learn throughout the process of this project, and photography class actually did help. I have a couple of examples for you guys. So the picture on the left, as you can see here, the sun is hitting the tracks to where it is kind of blinding to the camera. It's not really warmth and it's not really drawing you in. So I used a tool called Burn, and it basically just deepens the darkness and makes more like of a shadow look to a photo. And so I put that on the tracks and the rocks, so it brought warmth to the photo, so it would be more appealing to the eye. Another example is a picture of a rock actually next to the railroad tracks. I used the Burn tool again on the edited side on the piece of log, so again it could draw you in and bring warmth. But I also used a tool called the airbrush tool, and I basically did that to where it would look like the light was coming through the rocks, the rock in the middle with all the colors, and to make it look like it was shining so bright through the rock and the rock was so transparent that it would go around the other rocks around it. So that's basically what I did with that. As you can see, the rock on the left, the colors aren't as vibrant and they're not really popping, whereas the picture on the right, the edited photo, it is really appealing. to the human eye. My last example is again the goat that I entered into the competition. As you can see, I obviously changed it from color to black and white, but I also used that burn tool again to make the goat look like it had an actual figure to it, instead of whenever I turned it to black and white, it would look like a white blob. So I basically just outlined the parts of the goat's body to where it looked like it actually had shape and figure to it. The final part of my project was the album itself. So this is 10 pictures that I actually put into my album, and it was basically a way for me to learn what kind of style that I was really interested in for photography itself. As you can see, not all of them are portraits and not all of them are landscapes and not all of them, actually none of them are still life, but they are pictures of all these different types of things, animals, humans, fields, and hills. And it was basically just a way to help me find out what I like taking pictures of and how I liked editing them pictures. So some of the challenges that I actually faced was, like I said, like what type of photos that I wanted to actually take. That was actually a really hard challenge for me because nothing was really drawing me in, or something was really drawing me in and I really wanted to take a picture of it. And so I definitely had to learn what kind of style that I was really interested into when it came to photography. Another problem that I faced was internet. I live in the middle of nowhere, so downloading pictures to a computer and putting them into the GIMP editing software app was definitely hard and difficult and frustrating, so I had to do that. But GIMP itself was actually a challenge for me. Like I said, I had never edited photos before because we just put them into the yearbook. So I had to learn the software itself. I switched from photography class to another class at the end of semester 1. So I wasn't able to work with Miss Martin and learn all of the tools that you can use in GIMP. So I had to really work on it myself and practice the tools myself. And so that was definitely a challenge on how to use all them tools. And then my final challenge that I faced was that my album actually broke the day that we were turning it in. So these, it's like a binder pretty much, and the part that clips actually fell off the spine of the book that it was in. So I ended up having to hot glue the metal part onto the album itself just so it could stay, and so I would have something to actually turn in so I could show Miss Wilson. All of the things leading up to right now, such as my journalism class and my parents taking pictures of me and my family and me looking at them pictures for hours, has led up to this moment on me actually picking this project and me actually being interested in what I wanted to do for my passion project. It made it an actual passion for me and made me discover new things about myself when it came to photography. Thank you. Do my judges have any questions?
So I assume you used a digital camera
Yes, I did. A Canon 17. Yes.
in manual mode?
Well, for some pictures it was manual, and then other times I did control the shutter speed and f-stop and all of that to where I could practice with that as well. We started learning how to do that in photography, and then, like I said, I left. Yes. Yeah. It's cotton. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Did you want me to just put those back here? Okay.
session ID for this one is 2. Sounds good, there won't be babies. Hey Pam, you can move that one over if you want. Put this on your collar. And here's your clicker and I'll get your presentation set up. The down arrow.
Okay, are my judges ready? Oh, okay, 2 minutes. Okay, I am ready. Am I good? Okay, are my judges ready? Okay, so did you know that Egyptians started using makeup back in 6000 BC to appeal to gods? Hello, my name is Abigail Plushev, and I think that beauty is a way for each individual to express themselves and define who they are. Beauty is a radiance of spirit, having character, kindness to ourselves and others. It's strength and self-confidence to know that with or without makeup, the real beauty is you. So for my project, I went to Parkway Beauty Academy for 40 hours and I job shadowed the cosmetologist and it felt like 10 minutes. It was amazing. And sorry, okay. um, it felt like 10 minutes. And whenever I got there, I met some amazing girls and they were amazing. They were amazing what they did. And everybody was learning something new every day because how broad the field is. And being a cosmetologist opened door to many career opportunities. Look, for example, you can work to train behind the chair, you can teach, you can own your own salon, or you can work in many different industries and many more. I want to be able to open up my own salon, and I want to be able to make every person walk out feeling better about themselves. So in order to do that, I need to do more research on it. So I started from the history and wrong button, and I found some interesting facts. I found that in Egypt, not only did they use it to for the aesthetically pleasing effect, they used it to protect themselves from the sun and the dust from the desert. And in China, nail tinting was so closely tied to the social status that commoners that were caught wearing a royal nail color experienced a punishment of death. And in Romans, they used to identify and separate the woman by their hair color. So the noble woman colored their hair red, and the middle class woman colored their hair blonde, and the poor woman colored their hair black. And after doing the research on the history, I was eager to learn more. So me and my mentor sat down, we talked for hours, and she brought up the fact that you have to use the right products for your skin type. And that brought me back to my acne on my forehead. I was overusing the wrong products on the wrong skin type. And that is whenever I ran across Curology, and it was a personalized custom plan for your skin type. And it worked wonderful, but it was a little pricey. So I switched over to a cheaper skincare routine, and it still works wonderful. You just have to make sure it's the right products and right ingredients for your skin type. So you might be like, well, what kind of skin type do I have? Well, it's pretty simple. First thing in the morning, you wipe your face with a white paper. And if there's a little oil marks, that means it's combination or normal. If there's a lot of oil marks, that means your skin's oily. And if there's nothing, your skin's probably dry or sensitive. And the main skincare routine includes cleansing, moisturizing, and using sunscreen. You can do many other things. You can use eye creams, serums, toners, you can exfoliate, you could use masks, and many more. And here are some of the products. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. I just wanted to point out the fact that you can get it for $54 or you can get it for $15. It doesn't have to be expensive. And also, the top ones are usually, not always, usually for combination or normal skin. The middle ones are for oily skin. As you notice, it says oil free most of the time. And for the bottom ones is for dry skin. It usually will include like hydrating or healing. So you have to have the right products for your skin. And that goes the same with your hair. I have curly hair and I used to not know how to take care of it. So whenever I was younger, I used to rip out my hair and I would cry and stress myself out just because I didn't know how to take care of it. So I was using the wrong brush. I was using the brush for straight hair when I was supposed to be using for curly hair. So that was really stressful. So there's straight, wavy, curly, and coily. And here's the brushes. That's the one I was using. Ripping out my hair every day, really stressful. You're supposed to use that one for straight hair. And for wavy hair, use the boar bristle in the middle. And for curly and coily, use the wide tooth comb so it can detangle your curls. Or you can use a brand like Denman that's specifically on curls. And I ran across this really good quote that I liked. And it said, I love being able to make such a big change with nothing more than a little makeup and some brushes. When you make someone feel beautiful on the outside, it is amazing what it does for them on the inside. So for my project, I went to Parkway Beauty Academy for 40 hours. And whenever I arrived there, the first thing I did, I curled some hair. So I got this doll and I got these big rollers and I got the hair and you roll it this way. And there's many techniques that you can do, like different types of curls. The way I did it, I started from top, go all the way bottom and the middle. And then you start on the side and you curl them and then you put something in there so it holds it. And then after it dries, you let them out and that's the middle picture. And then I styled it. I was aiming more like in the old days look. And then next thing, after watching some of the amazing girls cut some hair, I went home and I cut my brother's and my sister's hair. For my brother, I used a razor and I trimmed up his sides and I gave him a fade cut. And he was really happy with the results. And he came back to next day to the school happy with his haircut. And for my sister, she cut her bangs way too high. So I had to fix it and I gave her layers so it would smooth it out a little bit. And then I did facials, my favorite part. I love facials. They're really relaxing and they are good for you in every way. So I had one done on me and then I practiced on someone else. So the first thing you do, you cleanse the skin, and you have to be really careful how you cleanse it. You have to put upwards or in circles. Just make sure you're not sagging the skin or irritating it. And then after cleansing, you can do like a mask and you let them relax for 10-15 minutes. And after that, you can either exfoliate or tone it, and then you moisturize the skin. And make sure you're using the right motions so you don't hurt your skin. And then I did wax. As you can tell, my eyebrows really needed to be waxed in that picture. And so you get a wax melter, you get some wax, you put it in there, you melt it, you get a wooden stick, you get some, put on a little fabric. And the cosmetologist told me a tip to tap it 10 times and then rip it really fast, and it works wonderful and was really satisfying. And then I did manicure and I watched a cosmetologist do a pedicure. For my manicure, you have to prep it, buff it, shape it however you want it, and then you put the nail color that your client or whoever wants it. And then you put a top coat or you decorate it, put glitter or anything you want. And then for the pedicure, it was really cool. The seats had massage settings, and then the little light had like a disco light and a shine, and it was really cool. I loved it. And some of the difficulties that I faced was the clients. Okay, some could be either really rude or not fun to work with. Okay, so I was watching a cosmetologist do a perm, and the lady kept falling asleep, moving too much, and that could irritate us and mess us up whenever we're trying to do it. And another thing was time management. With me going to school for 8 hours and then getting off and going straight to work at McDonald's and closing at 12 a.m. almost every day got in the way of me getting things done. So the solution that I figured out was taking time off with my family and time off holidays and go to Parkway Beauty Academy. And it was worth it. And some of the mistakes that I faced whenever I was doing the nails, I was getting it outside of the nails, but you could avoid that by using cuticle oils or Vaseline, and you'll easily be able to remove it. Another thing, I was cutting my sister's hair and I didn't have the right scissors, so that was unfortunate, but it still looked good, but it was a little choppy, but she was happy with it, so that's okay. So after going to Parkway Beauty Academy, I found my passion and I'm really confident about myself. And I want to be able to help others express themselves and define who they are. And I want everyone to feel beautiful about themselves. So if you ever need your nails, your hair, anything done, you know where I'm at. Parkway Beauty Academy. Do my judges have any questions? Yes? Honestly, the clients, because my siblings are really impatient. So I was like, come on, just 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes. And they're like, I don't wanna. But they were really happy with it at the end, so.
I have a question. So you're gonna graduate May 5th.
Mhm.
Is your plan to go straight to Parkway Academy or?
I might go to college and MSU and learn about business for 2 years. And then after learning about business, I'm going to go to Parkway Beauty Academy and I'm going to get my certificate. And then I might open up my salon or do my own business online or something like that.
So are you gonna take advantage of A+?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Any more questions?
What were those types of combs? What was the last one?
The what?
Yeah, the types of combs that you were using.
Oh, types of combs. There's
Coily, or what was
the last one was wide tooth comb, or like a Brandon man. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. 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 Thank you. Oh, okay. So do I just go now? Okay.
Look at that here while you can.
And there she goes. Bye-bye.
You know how to put it on or anything.
Is it up? Do I point it at your computer? Or... Okay, I'm just making sure. No, I'm fine. Wow, you don't want to sit that close to me? I think he's intimidated. I actually like this, so there's not glare off the top. Are my judges ready? Did you know that approximately 57% of high school students participate in at least one sport within their high school careers? That roughly comes up to 8 million high school students in athletics. With all these students in sports, I believe it is worthwhile to talk about the various mental and physical benefits of sports on high school students. Hello, my name is Gennady Dudka, and I'll be talking about the benefit of sports on high school students. The reason that I chose this topic was because I have personally benefited from sports, both mentally and physically. The way that I've benefited physically from sports is due to the fact that I lost unhealthy weight, I got stronger, and I got faster. The way that I benefited mentally was where sports gave me an outlet to do the sport, and I didn't have to worry about anything that was going around in my life other than that. But whenever you're talking about sports today, I believe it is worthwhile to talk about how sports came to be. This brings up the history of sports. The first ever recorded sport was in Egypt in 4000 BC, where they did fishing, wrestling, and swimming. Later came a more well-known sport known as the Olympic Games in Greece in 776 BC. Later came the Roman gladiator fights in 264 BC. Then came more modern sports, such as baseball, football, basketball, and tennis. With the modernization of sports came high school sports. And with that came the benefits of high school sports. There are both mental and physical benefits of high school sports. First off is the physical benefits. One of the physical benefits is heart function. The reason that heart function is improved while doing a sport is there's not as much stress put on your heart while you're participating in a sport. Next is weight benefits. Whether you're overweight and you need to lose weight, or you're underweight and you need to gain weight, participating in a sport is a way you could do both. If you're underweight, you lose calories while participating in your sport, which makes you lose unhealthy weight. But if you're underweight, you gain muscle mass, which is a healthy weight to gain. Next is muscle growth. Muscle growth is very important, not only for the aesthetic and strength and speed. Muscle also helps prevent soft tissue injuries such as ACL, HCL, MCL, and meniscus tears. Next is the mental benefits. One of the mental benefits are social relationships. You gain many social relationships through sports, such as coaches and teammate relationships, which teach you a lot. Next is the stress relief. While doing a sport, you have stress relief due to endorphins that are sent from your brain through your bloodstream that make you more calm and more easygoing. Next is the boost of self-confidence. As you see yourself progress in the sport and see yourself get better throughout the years, you start getting more confident in yourself, which helps boost your self-confidence. Next is depression and anxiety. Sports help depression and anxiety due to the fact, there was a study that showed that 8% of all athletes suffer with depression and anxiety. That is well below the national average. The reason for this is the endorphins that your brain sends through your bloodstream, which make you stress-free and just in a better mood in general. Next is improved academics. There was a study that showed that both GPA and the amount of missed days were improved within athletes than non-athletes. The study showed that the GPA of athletes was 2.84, whereas non-athletes was 2.68. Same thing with missed days, where athletes had 7.4 averaged missed days, whereas non-athletes had 8.8 averaged missed days. Next is the life skills that you gain. You gain many life skills while participating in a sport, such as leadership, teamwork, respect, responsibility, and discipline and resilience. With all these mental and physical benefits in mind, I wanted to do something that would give back to sports. I wanted it to give back to one of the two sports that I participate in, either track or football. I chose track. The reason for this is because track doesn't get the love that it deserves. I personally didn't choose to do track because I liked the sport. At first, I did it so that I could get better at football. But then as the years went on, I saw myself get better, and I started enjoying the sport more, and I fell in love with it, and it became part of me. So I just and it was very difficult to do the sport I loved whenever I didn't have the best equipment. So because whenever I threw the event that I do is shot put and discus, and I chose to reinnovate the shot put area because anytime you threw the shot, it would sink 3 to 4 inches into the ground, and it was messy and it was just inconvenient, and you wouldn't be able to do much in these days, especially since it's a spring sport and that it rains quite a bit. So with these in mind, I reinnovated the shot put area. The way that I did this was first I drew it up. I drew the sector lines. As you can see, those orange lines, that's where the shot has to legally land for it to be a legal throw. I drew it up so that I would know where I'd have to put the new shot put area. Next, I removed the top layer. I moved the dirt. First, I used a shovel to get a good area removed so that I could fit the skid steer in there and remove the rest. After that, I laid gravel. I laid gravel on the bottom so I'd have a strong base layer for the rest of it. Oh, I laid railroad ties so that it would hold everything together. Then I put the gravel so that I'd have a strong base layer. Next, I laid plastic. The plastic was laid so that whenever I put the fine chat, it would hold it all together. And finally, I laid the fine chat. I had many challenges whenever I was doing my senior project. The first one was rain. The reason that rain was an issue was because I had football at the beginning of the year, so I couldn't do my senior project as soon as I wanted to. I had to wait until football season was over because after practice, I didn't have much time to work on it. And then later came snow, and then it was difficult to work in cold days, and then rain came. And it was difficult to work on days like this because you can't really get much done. The only thing you could really do is drain the water. The next challenge that I faced was electrical wiring. The reason that this was a big issue was because there wasn't supposed to be any electrical wiring or plumbing or anything going through the area that we were doing the shot put area at. And we didn't expect it. But whenever my mentor and I were digging, we found a wire going directly through it. So we had to change our plans and so that it would accommodate for it. The things that I learned is not everything goes according to plan, and you have to just grab what you have and go with it. As you can see, this is the before and after of my senior project. So with the 8 million high school students in sports, I believed it was worthwhile to talk about both the mental and physical benefits of it. And with these mental and physical benefits in mind, I chose to do my senior project over this. Do my judges have any questions? It was an electrical wire that was going to the plumbing box, the box that's like right in the corner, and it went from the field house through to it, so it went directly by it. We actually cut out a little bit of the railroad tie so that it would fit underneath it, and then we laid it flush with the railroad tie so it wouldn't be hit by the gravel and stuff whenever you're throwing the shots.
I don't think you had the home track meets this year.
No, we did not.
So you weren't able to use this.
I did because practice is very, like, the main reason I did this was because we couldn't really practice like 3 days after it rained, and it being a spring sport, it's difficult to not practice whenever it rains.
So other than practice, you had it.
Yeah.
You did like for a week
Yeah.
yet.
But it was very beneficial even in practice. I completed it, I don't know the exact day, but it was like 2 weeks before track season started. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Are you nervous? What is that?
So you'll be fine.
Yay, thanks.
When you'll be done.
Yeah, super exciting. Oh my gosh, I have 7 minutes. Thank you. Huh? Thanks, Sharon.
Get it in while you can.
Okay, just gotta make sure I knew what I was doing. I'm more scared to present in front of you. Yeah. Well, you too. Exactly.
Oh my god.
Hmm? What? No. You. Very weird. I think it turned into a gathered thing.
Hard. But I mean, he did good. But I mean, because Kenny, he was naturally nervous for a baby. It matters if I was in there or not. He's never been one.
Hi, Codro.
You're right, none at all. Is it up or down? To switch it, is it up or down? I don't want to do it again. You sure? Poo.
That's at 6:40.
I'm just confused. I do. Thanks. Are my judges ready? Mrs. Bloom sat in her kitchen, stirring her cup of tea. It had been a long time since she had visitors. Her family had all grown up and moved away, and her husband had passed away many years before. As she sat there, she thought about all the ways society had treated her and the ways that aging affected her brain and her body. Negative attitudes towards elders in society are pervasive and they affect them greatly. Hi, my name is Marjorie Sheehan, and there are many negative effects of aging, including but not limited to mental and physical decline, increased isolation, and increased dependence. Therefore, society needs to put more of an effort into helping our elders. I gravitated towards a community service project for a variety of reasons. One being, it would allow me to give back. It would allow me to help those around me that usually don't get this help like I was wanting to give. My second reason was it would get me out of my comfort zone. Community service includes people. It makes you talk to new people, and this is something I was looking for. And my third reason was because of my grandparents' current state of health. Mainly my grandpa. My grandpa has suffered from a stroke in previous years, leaving him more dependent on people than he's ever been in his life. Although this has happened, he is still the most healthy, intellectual, and most influential elder I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Not just that, but he is also continuing to keep his body in the best state he can keep it in with the things that life has thrown at him. With that being said, my family and my grandparents all suffered the loss of a son, a brother, and an uncle. I lost my uncle a few years ago due to reasons I will not elaborate on. However, this was something that I noticed really hit my grandparents, especially my grandpa. He seemed to have gotten smaller, seemed more sad. And but he still continued to try to do his best. What is aging? Aging is a collection of events that starts from infancy and continues out through adulthood. It represents a person's life, a time they reflect on their accomplishments, and when they start to finalize their life course. Aging is something that necessitates flexibility and new development in order to adapt to the changes that comes with your life when you age. Not just that, your body slowly will start to deteriorate. Muscle mass is lost, bones become weaker, and your organs stop working as efficiently as they used to whenever you age. At the biological level, World Health Organization claims that aging is the buildup of molecular and cellular damage over time. Another feature that comes with aging is geriatric syndromes, which include weakness, urine incontinence, stumbles, delirium, and pressure ulcers. Health conditions also affect how diseases travel through your brain. Molecules of certain types involved in a disease termed tau protons makes it to where diseases travel very, very fast in your brain and ultimately leads to deterioration of your brain. In a study done by researchers, they claim that there are three main outcomes of pathology and disease. One being impairment, which is the inability to, which is the abnormality brought on by pathology and anatomical processes. The third is functional limitation, which is the inability to carry out daily living activities associated with typical roles of life. And the third is disability, which is the changing behavior pattern of a person due to long-term impairment. Aside from the biological level of things and the mental part of things, elders also face loneliness and hopelessness. As an elder ages, sometimes they'll start to lose their ties to their family and their relatives or even their culture, leaving them to feel like they have nothing to rely on anymore. Another thing is, as your body starts to deteriorate, you get these health issues, which means sometimes elders will feel like they lose purpose in life or even start to become bored. It is inevitable that aging people will feel the effects of aging on them. Society has negative repercussions on elders. It is often that people will put new acquaintances into categories based on their race, age, and even gender without realizing it. Stereotyping has been found to start at a very young age. It was found that as young as the age of 3, they were able to decipher older people and put them into a schema of old. The term for discrimination and stereotyping against elders is ageism. There is always going to be an aging population within your family, your friends, your coworkers, or even someone you just see in the store. Along with ageism that happens within the family scope, elder abuse can happen, such as physical and sexual assault, psychological and emotional abuse, carelessness, and financial exploitation are all examples of elder abuse that elders have faced. It was said that 78% of elders in America have faced some sort of elder abuse, whether it being something as minor as carelessness or something as big as sexual assault. My research was a big reason for the project that I picked. I really wanted to get more knowledge about what your body goes through as you age, given the fact that I will also be going through this process at some point in my life. There's nothing you can do to stop aging. It will always be there and you will always have to go through it. With that being said, my project was grocery shopping for seniors. I wanted to help a handful of seniors with their grocery shopping who really don't have the mobility to do this anymore. However, after getting my proposal back from the committee, they informed me that I should probably just stick with one person given the time management due to me being a senior and having an internship every other day. With that being said, I got the help of my dad who works at G&W Foods, and he and his coworker paired me up with a perfect individual. This individual was Nadine House. Nadine and I got to get to know each other about a day or two after getting paired with her. I went to her house, we worked on things such as scheduling, and we tried to come up with a schedule. However, we didn't really get one that was consistent. It was more or less, I call her every Monday, and if she needed something, then I would help her. And if she didn't, then I would call her again later in the week, or she would call me, and we would try to find a time that was comfortable for both of us without being inconvenient. As for the process of shopping, I would go to Nadine. She would get me a list of things. We'd either sometimes sit down and talk about it if it was super complex, and if it wasn't, then I would just go get it. When we were there, my dad or his coworker usually would help me. I don't think they thought I needed it. More or less, they just wanted to be there with me, which was always nice because I didn't always know where some stuff was. So them being able to help me figure out and kind of memorize where things were as time progressed, this really helped me. Now, whenever I would buy them, they would cash it out, give me a receipt, and then I would later take it to her. Then she would write me a check, and then I would take it back to the store. I did this every Monday, like I said, or I tried, and that was about it for that part of it. I'd sometimes even sit down and talk with Nadine. I would help her put up her groceries. There was a time whenever she told me that she thought she was losing her eyesight, and that really sucked to hear because she was a very sweet individual. And then I went to the store again because I forgot something, and I came back and I saw her trying to cut an apple, which scared me because she's using a knife and she can't see. Like I said previously, elders face a lot of physical health issues. Nadine was one of them. She had suffered from cancer in her earlier years, leaving her losing her eyesight every day as time progressed. One of these challenges that I faced was communication. This didn't seem like a really hard thing given the fact that I'm talking to another person, but someone who can't see and she also couldn't hear was a little difficult when it came to me figuring out how loud I should be, where I should stand even so she knew I was there, or even just kind of helping her get around with being comfortable with myself and making her feel comfortable with me being in her house. My biggest challenge was one I did not expect to face. Nadine had suffered from a minor stroke about a week or two into my project. I remember getting the text from my dad that Nadine was in the hospital. This worried me not only for my project, but mainly for her family. Nadine was a 93-year-old woman. That is a hard recovery for a 93-year-old to recover from. So about 2 or 3 weeks into my project, Nadine ended up passing away. I felt awful. I felt bad because I wasn't always there with her. I wish I could be there with her more. About a week before her passing, I remember being on the phone with her, and she's saying that she was all by her lonesome, and I couldn't be there at the time. And I didn't realize in that moment that I would not be able to see Nadine the next week because she would be put into the hospital. With that being said, I felt bad for her family too. About 2 or 3 days later, my dad had texted me saying he found a new person for me to do my project with. I felt excited because, yay, my project keeps getting to go on. I'm not stuck here worrying about it, but I really, really didn't know how else to come back and feel okay in a sense. This is something that really impacted me emotionally too. I didn't get a donating that long, but I do know people in my life who are starting to grow older as I grow older, such as my parents. And the thought of losing them really sucks. I was later paired up with Susie Smith. Susie and I do the exact same process as for the shopping. However, for the time that I go and see her, it's every Thursday, and that is it. I get her the senior discount, and like I said, that's kind of all we do. I'm very pleased to say, though, that me and Susie are still doing my project to this day. I know it's over and done with, but I enjoy it a lot, and I think it's a good thing. I also hope to see other people, doing my project too, or getting inspiration from it, because it really is a good thing. It really made me feel like a better person, helping others who needed it and who don't oftenly get it. Elders face a lot of negative repercussions. They face a lot of mental and physical health issues. They face a lot of society negativity, but they also have a lot of wisdom and experience that younger cohorts may not have. They have things that they've experienced things that we haven't yet, or people at younger ages haven't. And maybe they have, but usually they have extremely cool stories to tell. And for that being, I think that this was an awesome project for me, and I hope to see other people doing it too. Thank you. Do my judges have any questions? Yes.
So you seem to have a pretty emotional connection with this. It's great. But while doing your research throughout the year and doing your project, has it kind of like maybe formulated a career path for you, or has that been a thought process in this?
Not really, because I'm currently interning at the law office, and that has just been like my main focus on where I want to go, is to be an attorney. But it definitely has made me appreciate more. So, got something out of it.
Yeah, because in a way, I think it kind of helped you in a way wanting to do law, because you could also help it.
Yeah.
With the elderly laws, because of a daughter of the aging community.
Mhm.
And I went to church. I went to lunch with a lady friend of the elderly, and on Sunday, and just hearing the stories that they have, and it would help you in that way, to where just learning. They need you guys as younger people to teach.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks. Thanks. Did I just rip it off? Oh, nope. I pressed the button though. Uh-oh. Did I turn it off when I... Hello? No.
How'd you feel about stuttering? People like that.
Thank you. Just saying. Tell Beth. Nope. Gotta go. See ya. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Hey, it's your turn.
Now I'm here. I guess Miss Jane's office in here, Candy, so it worked out okay.
See ya. Oh. Going paddle shopping this weekend?
Never mind, my mom.
Do you need my help with this stuff?
No. That's not my presentation. All right. Are my judges ready? Okay. Over the years, I've always been slightly insecure about my weight, my height, just overall my size. I felt like if I was ever threatened or if I ever felt like somebody wanted to harm me in any way or anything of that sort, I wouldn't be able to defend myself as I'm just small, for lack of a better term. And I wanted to grow specifically muscular wise. So I knew I needed to lock down on a nutrition plan as well as a weight plan. And if I wanted to do so, I would have to find a good resource. And at that time, I didn't really have much money, so I looked toward the one resource that all of us have, and none of us really look toward, and that's social media, specifically YouTube, which provides so many benefits that people don't really look toward, specifically benefits like motivational content or content to help educate people, as well as its economic benefits and its overall benefits in providing jobs. It also has cons with it as well that people like to mention, such as its addictive nature, as well as its issues causing self-esteem with specifically younger women
but I'd like to address those in my speech and prove why social media has a lot more benefits than it does negatives. So, to start things off, I wanted to express why I'm so passionate about something like this. Over the last 5 or so years, I've been posting videos on social media, not really in a career-focused way, but more of a look to educate people, to entertain people, as I'd always enjoyed watching people specifically play video games and entertain people, and I wanted to do something like that my entire life. And I knew if I took this on as my senior project, if I took content creation on, it would push me to just be consistent and just really focus down on making a career out of it. So that's what I did. An example of a creator inspiring people, as once again, people believe that social media has a lot of negatives, one being that it hurts self-esteem, it hurts people's overall image of themselves, but that is not the goal of the creators. The goal of the creators is to inspire people, and one creator doing that is David Goggins, also known as the baddest man alive. He's went through 3 Navy SEAL Hell Weeks, as an Army Ranger, and as an ultramarathon runner, and he posts on social media to millions of people, and he posts motivational style content, hoping to help people become the best selves, inspire people, and overall just push people in a competitive nature. And through his platform of millions of followers, he is able to make a lot of money off this and make a potential career out of something like this. And that moves me on to my next point, that social media is a $16.4 billion industry as of 2020 and is growing at a rapid rate since then. In total, there are over 2 million creators making a 6-figure income off of social media as of 2020 as well, and that number probably has gone up as COVID and people were more inside watching more and more content. A creator that has a big empire and is employing a lot of people on social media specifically is Jimmy Donaldson, or Mr. Beast. In this picture, he is getting his 2nd Kids' Choice Award. He is known as the most influential person on the planet, and he employs over 100 people in his $20 billion social media empire, and that number has continued to grow as it was from 2020 as well. I actually have experience working in a company like this. Over the summer, before my senior project, I knew I wanted to get into content creation and look for a job in social media, so I looked toward my mentor, Dalton Brock, who is the founder and CEO of a company called Esports Center. It's a company that posts gaming informational style content on social media, and through this I was able to get knowledge on how social media works. I could understand basically how you make a career out of social media. I was able to job shadow him before my senior project even began, and then I was really able to push through that as my senior project was kind of began, set in motion. So, of course, before I started posting on social media, I wanted to understand a few things. One, how to post on social media in a way that favors these social media algorithms. If you want to grow on social media, you need to understand how those algorithms work, what videos perform the way that they do that will push these videos to the next level and push them over other people's videos, as it's an extremely competitive nature. Number 2, creating a brand that is engaging, inviting, a social media brand that will make people want to join my community, interact with my community, and become part of my community. And 3rd, creating engaging videos that will help my videos perform, push them to the next level, make people want to, once again, look into my content, become members of my community, and become interested in what I'm interested in. So the steps that I took to become a content creator on social media was, 1, I had to create the accounts on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all of the biggest social media platforms. I then had to find out what was going on in the tech niche so that people, as I created tech informational content, I had to figure out what was going on in the tech creator niche and overall understand what people were interested in, what people wanted to watch, so that my videos would perform and educate people, which was one of my main goals. I then had to follow a 3-step process of scripting, filming, and editing my videos to make sure they were the best quality that they could be, and 4, posting these videos on social media. And I typically just posted the same videos on all platforms so that I didn't have to make individual videos for each platform. The results of my product were actually pretty good. I was able to get 50,000 followers on TikTok, 9,000 followers on Instagram, and 5,000 followers, or 9,000 followers on YouTube, and 5,000 on Instagram. Pardon. This number has increased since these. Obviously, I cannot get a live counter, but this number continues to grow every single day. And yeah, here's some examples of my videos. There's one.
things like spatial audio and the function of the button. Even has a function that uses different tests. Give it fits with this. They also just look beautiful. The shiny and matte black mixture is really appealing. I really just have two critiques. One, the transparency mode really isn't that clear. Second one, I think about. By the way, I would recommend these to anyone in the market. At a price point of only $179, hard to pass that up. But anyway, thank you OnePlus for sending these out to me.
And here's another example.
Did you know Apple sued Samsung for $2.75 billion? This all happened back in sued Samsung. These features include autocorrect, slide to unlock, after a lot of back and forth, the jury ruled in favor of Apple, resulting in a payout of $1.05 billion to Apple, which was nowhere near the goal. But it doesn't stop there. Samsung countersued Apple for camera and folder organization. As a result, Apple had to pay Samsung $158.
So that video specifically, the second one, has over 3 million views across different social media platforms and is continuing to grow every day. This opportunity also allowed me the opportunity to work with many other creators that I've been looking up to for many years. My mentor is an example. He's the guy over here on the right. I actually got to meet him this summer, but he's an example of a creator that I've been looking up to for so long. I had been consuming and watching his content for 2 years before I reached out and decided to see if he would be open to taking me in as an intern. And it was really cool that I was able to meet and interact with somebody that I looked up to, and not only that, but work with them. I faced many challenges throughout my social media journey and my project. Specifically, I am colorblind, so it's pretty difficult to figure out the colors and how to make my videos look appealing when I have trouble seeing the differences in colors. And because of that, I typically tend to oversaturate my videos and make them look really good to me, but not really very good to other people. And also, meeting with my mentor was pretty difficult, as since he lives in Arizona, it's pretty hard for us to meet in person. So the majority, all of the time that I spent mentoring with him was online over Discord or Google Meets, and it was hard to find time for both of us to sit down and come together for hours and discuss what was going on with my brand and my project, as we have different time zones and we both just have stuff going on. Over the years, I've noticed that I have been able to put on the physique that I'd been happy with. I'm not really where I'd like to be yet, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep pushing. Social media really does have many, many benefits that I hope that this presentation has shown you guys, and I hope that you guys will see the potential benefits as it continues. There is a lot going on right now with social media where people believe that it has some downsides, and I definitely will say it does, but overall, I believe it has more goods than bads. And I also believe that I'm very thankful for the opportunity to do my senior project, as I will continue to search for a career in this path, specifically in my own company now, which I have not established yet. But I do want to establish a company through my social media brand and make a career out of it. So thank you guys, and do you guys have any questions? I'm excited.
Did they send them to you, or did you purchase them?
They sent them to me, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many other sponsors have you had?
That's the only one. It wasn't really like a sponsor because there was no like contract. They just sent it for me to post about, kind of. So it's just like kind of a gift, really. They got out of it too. But any other questions?
How difficult was it to actually get that many followers to enter into that?
It can be pretty difficult because my goal was to post 1 video a day, which is pretty difficult because I have to script, film, and edit the videos, and that can take like at the beginning like 2 to 2.5 hours, even though they're pretty short. Just there's a lot that goes into editing them, but I could eventually get them out in about an hour. But still, posting every single day and finding that hour to 2.5 hours can be pretty difficult, of nights of like staying up till midnight sometimes and stuff like that, especially with tennis season going on now. All right, thank you guys.
Never seen you dressed up.
Never seen you dressed up. Oh no, my G ripped off.
Still blue. Sure. Can I put this on?
I don't know how to put that on. Is this like a speaker?
Yeah, it's your microphone.
Does it record me?
Everything you say
I'm
is
like
heard.
nervous. Hello. Hello. Is it good? All right. I didn't even see you sitting there.
You need pep talk. I need a pep talk.
I was told there was gonna be like 3 or 4 people. There's like 12.
I mean, I just want to run a guitar, but I learned a lot. Yeah, I did. I love it. No, I know. It's pretty good.
I'm good with what?
You're good at doing speeches.
No.
This is your last speech, right?
I hope.
You
For tonight, anyway. For tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, his brother was even cooler than that.
I gotta do that. Now you're covering. I can't see. You don't want me here? What? No, you can sit wherever you want. You can sit right here. Sit beside you. Yeah. Rather than stick together. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'm kind of nervous. You're not helping me. We can through it. I'm good. It's just not. No, it's just not. I'll say that. I don't know if they wouldn't believe me if I said that word.
Are my judges ready? All right. So I'm sure many of you have worked with wood at least one time in your life, whether that's helping your grandparents build something like work on a house or a shed, or helping your dad in the wood shop, or wherever you're helping him build stuff. But the main thing in woodworking and building things with people is building relationships. It's good to have those relationships in woodworking. Hello, my name is Anthony Ortega, and for my senior project, I chose to build a doghouse. For my doghouse, mainly to build something for him to be comfortable in and keep him warm during the wintertime. In woodworking, why I found it interesting, I've always enjoyed building things. As a kid, I would take my dad's tools and go and just build random things out in the yard. But when I was building with these tools, I learned a lot because me being able to use these tools and how to learning how to use these tools would help me, like I would be able to use them when I get older. And then hands-on learning. In woodworking, there's a lot of hands-on learning. I'm a hands-on learning person. I can't just look at something and know how to do it. I have to be hands-on. In woodworking, I use OSHA because OSHA is big on safety. It stands for the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They make sure that people are safe and they have a healthy environment to work. Where I work, they use OSHA. They're big on safety, so I'm kind of used to that. Some joys of woodworking. What I find joy in woodworking is you can build something that you can use and that can last for a long time, and just something that you can enjoy and be proud of that you made. And then you can build something that others can use and be proud that they have it. And it's just a good feeling to build something for somebody, for them to use, and they can cherish that. Even though there are a lot of joys in woodworking, there are a lot of dangers too. One of them, not paying attention. Along with that comes distractions. Both of those tie in together because if you're not paying attention or you're distracted and you're running a saw, that wood could slip, come back and hit you, and you could be injured. So you always want to make sure that you're being safe while you're building. Speaking of being safe while building, safety of woodworking. Personal safety. You always make sure that you're wearing safety glasses just in case anything chips off and hits you in the eyes. And then earplugs, you always want to protect your hearing. When you're running saws, it can be loud and you won't be able to hear. So you always want to make sure you're wearing earplugs. That way if someone's trying to tell you something or something's happening, you want to be able to hear them, what they're trying to tell you. And then steel-toe boots. When you're working with wood or building something, you can't just go out and wear sandals or tennis shoes because something could fall from a shelf, saying you're building something on a shelf and it falls. It's not going to feel very good when it falls down and hits your foot. So always make sure you're wearing something that's steel-toed. Equipment safety. For saws, you want to make sure that there's guards on anything, not only saws, other tools, including saws. Make sure there's guards that are protecting that. That way you're not getting hurt. And make sure that all your kill switches work just in case, like if something goes wrong and it gets out of control, you can hit that kill switch. And some have built-in kill switches. So when it goes wrong, it'll automatically shut off and know that something's wrong. This is the start of my project. Down here, I built the base out of press board. I think that's what I built it out of. And then here, after I got done putting the bottom on, I started putting on the sides. I had to brace them. Some challenges that I had through building this doghouse was split boards. I'd put the screw in wrong, it'd split the board, and so I'd have to find a new spot to put that screw in because I didn't want to end up using more wood than I had already bought. And then over and undercut boards. When I measured it, I would cut it too long and then it wouldn't fit right, so I'd go back, cut it, and then it would be too short. So I was I ended up using more wood than I should have. And then keeping the heat in, we had to find a good source, like insulation to keep the heat in. So we used foam board, pink insulation foam board. And then another challenge we had was the lighting. We installed a heat lamp in the inside of the roof, and we had to make sure that it was angled straight down and wasn't pointing forwards or backwards. And the right size door, we had to find a door that was able, or that our dog was able to fit in and out of nicely, because the first one we got was too small and the second one fit just right. So this is the middle of my project. I got the sides put on, and in here you can kind of see the pink foam board that we use to keep the heat in, the insulation. We got the sides put on. We got it all painted. We used a very thick base paint. It is waterproof and chip resistant. Time management. I had to find time working on this project. I had to find time at home to work on it because we usually had things to do. I didn't have enough time to work on it. Usually it was just weekends because I was working through the week. And then I had to find time to work around my schedule to work on it, like from school. I didn't work on it at school. I worked it at my house. And then another thing I learned through this was learning how to manage my time. Because when you get older, you're not going to have enough time to do everything that you want to do. Things are going to come up. And so I think that was a good thing for me to learn, was learning how to manage my time. This is my finished product. I got the roof put on, the side pieces on the top, and then I had the door put on there and installed. For my material for this project, I had to find cheaper wood because wood was kind of high. It wasn't very high, but it was up there. And then I had to find the right color tin that kind of matched our house, because what I was going for was to match our house and how it looked. And then I had to find the right screws to use and the foam insulation I used for the inside. Through this process, I think it was very helpful and beneficial to me because I learned how to build something on my own, and I was able to cherish it, and it gave my dog something to enjoy and keep him comfortable through the winter. Thank you. And my judges have any questions? Yeah. I think we spent 2 months on it, building it. Yeah. I don't really think I would change anything about it. I mean, it came out how I wanted it to, so I'm proud of it and how it turned out. Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
Bull Mastiff.
So it's a big dog.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Does he enjoy the house?
Yeah, he does. He's in it every night.
You learn through this besides time management?
Just learning how to build, just, you know, having that knowledge on how to build. That way when I get older, I can use that knowledge and pass it on to my kids one day. Thank you. I'll just give this to you.
Did you see my? No, I buttered some sauce.
Oh, that was awesome.
You know what? It all came together.
I knew you and your dad would do it. So. Yeah, I'm actually heading out there. That way. It's embarrassing, right? Good job, Anthony. Good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
Got it. I had to put the whistle in there for you guys. Oh.
Did good. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Emma, what's this time? Good, bud.
Good, how are you?
Well, I got grafted into.
It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal.
Mr. Gum. Mr. Gum. How is Mrs. Traeger?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Yeah. Good talk. Figured it out. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
We have to wait until.
No, this is crazy.
be on the microphone.
Are my judges ready? I don't know about you, but I was always being nagged about going to college. Whether it was how I was going to apply, what schools I was going to, or how I was going to afford the tuition, it was constantly talking about college. In fact, my dad's favorite catchphrase from ages 8 to 18 was to stay in school, meaning I should keep going to college because it's a great investment. Hello, my name is Michael Medwood, and I'm here to talk about how college is a great investment for students. Before I talk about college, like the whole college scene, you need to know why you should even be considering college. I have three reasons why you should choose college. First is knowledge. Knowledge you can get almost anywhere, but college education is one of the best educations you can get, and it helps you out in most everyday life and in the specific job field that you want to go into. So in college, you have your general classes, and then you also have specified courses for your specific job field. Say you want to be a teacher, you have your history classes, your math classes, but you also have your teaching classes to help you learn how to teach and what to do in certain situations. Another reason why you should choose college is the opportunities that you get. This ties into my third reason, connections. Opportunity comes at almost every turn in college. Career Bridge programs are a great example of this because Career Bridge programs can prepare you for the specific job field that you want to go into, and it's almost like an internship with the school, and it helps you a lot, and you can gain a lot of connections throughout this program with the boss, the CEO, and they can eventually give you a job after college. Now, does college equal success? A lot of people say yes, but I think it can, but it doesn't have to. It depends on what you define as success. A lot of people think that success is just getting as much money as possible, but that's not necessarily the case. It can also just mean you have a family and you make ends meet. It's just whatever you define as success. So college can definitely lead to both of those, but it doesn't necessarily. Miss Lee, the personal finance teacher here at Willow Springs High School, I interviewed her for my research paper, and this was her answer to a question, how she imagined her life would be if she never went to college. She stated, "I would imagine if I hadn't attended college, I wouldn't have developed the social skills and met the people I did. I wouldn't have had the life experiences. I wouldn't have met my husband. Honestly, going to college paved the way for my entire journey." This just goes to show how college can honestly give you a golden shovel instead of using a spoon right out of high school. You get opportunity, like I stated before, knowledge, and a lot of connections. Like she stated, she even met her spouse in college, which is actually the case for 40% of people who attend college. Now, when people think of college, they immediately think of finances. How am I going to pay for it? There's 3 simple steps to help you pay for your college tuition: financial aid, scholarships, and student loans. I'm going to talk about all 3 of these individually. First, financial aid. Financial aid is offered by almost every college and university, and it's accepted by 80% of those who apply, meaning and it can pay up to 20% of your college tuition. So say your college tuition is $10,000, that's $2,000 that you won't have to pay. Secondly, the scholarships. Scholarships can pay for up to 100%, but the majority is 30 to 40% of your college tuition. So that's another $4,000 that you will not have to pay due to a scholarship that you apply for. And student loans, a lot of people don't like student loans because you're getting into debt right out of college, and it's really difficult to pay off. But if you use financial aid and scholarships to your full advantage, then student loans, you won't have to pay that much into student loans, and it'll be really easy to pay off, especially if you do go into career bridge programs that help you get a job right out of college. For my senior project, I wanted to kind of get kids thinking about college instead of just saying or thinking that they didn't want to go and not doing any research about it. So I wanted to at least give kids like an idea of what kind of college was and decide if they wanted to go instead of just not going. Before my senior project, I had a lot of rejection. Actually, we got rejected 5 times for different project proposals before this one. But I'm actually glad because it led to this project, which I felt really passionate about. And it helped me in my own life because it helped me choose if I wanted to go to college or if I didn't want to go to college. My purpose for this project was so that I could show it year for years to come. And so that students would be able to, like I said before, just see college in a different light than just the pros and cons and the debates that you see all over the internet. And choosing universities was definitely difficult because when I first started looking into the project, I wanted to go out of state because I thought that would be cooler. You get to see a bunch of universities from different states. However, it was proven very difficult because it was difficult to find time during the school year to go to these universities. So I decided to stay in Missouri. And later I found out that it's actually a good thing because most students around here tend to stick around in Missouri for the first 2 years and then they transfer out. So it's definitely more beneficial for students around here to be able to see universities in Missouri. Some of the hardships I had during my project was learning how to edit. I had no idea how to edit before this. I knew almost nothing about computers, just how to play video games on them. And it was definitely a learning curve. I learned a lot from YouTube and different tutorials on how to edit, and that's pretty much how I did it. Another hardship was my mentor. I chose a very poor mentor, somebody I definitely could not rely on. If I could change one thing in this project, it was definitely to choose a more reliable mentor and somebody closer to home. After my senior project, I felt relief and accomplishment, not only because the senior project was over with and I didn't have to deal with it, but because I made something that I personally felt proud of and that I could feel proud showing to other students just so they could have a laugh and see college in like a new light instead of just thinking of it as a void that you put your time and money into. This is the first school that I visited, Northwest Missouri State University. Not only do I think college is a good benefit for students, but I think it can definitely pave a way into your life that you never thought was possible before. Like Miss Lee stated, she met her husband. She made a lot of choices in college that led to her being as successful as she is today. That's why I think that college is a great investment for students and anyone wanting to better their life. Thank you. Do my judges have any questions?
Have you made decisions about what you're gonna do?
Yes, I'm going to go to GCSE down in Florida for college.
Why did you pick those?
Northwest, my sister went there, and the other three were potential colleges that I was looking into. Park University, my uncle actually went to, and then UMKC was just a college that was closer to home, and Rockhurst was a Catholic school, and I'm Catholic, so I thought it would be cool to add like a religious school into there.
So, with everybody living on their cell phone these days, maybe meeting new people is not as easy as what it used to be.
It definitely is difficult, especially with everyone being as connected as they are online. But I think that different programs in college, like there's different clubs and stuff, and that can definitely bring people together. I know my sister's a part of some clubs that it really just helps them like be more together and connected instead of always being on their electronics.
Very good point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He acts like he knows what he's doing. But I'll say.